He's the host of Odyssey Sports, Big Time Baseball, Bet MGM, MLB podcast powered by BetQL, and Bet for the Cycle on BetQL. And down the line, he is Mr. Cody Decker. How are you, sir?
Oh, man, living the dream. Played some golf earlier today. Shot not great, but hey, what are you going to do?
I am an avid golfer.
As am I.
And the thing, it's so funny when I go with my friends for the first time and they play, and they get so mad. And I always tell them, I'm like, guys, we're just here to have fun. Here, have a beer.
No. You might be there to have fun. I'm there to kick their ass.
If it's for money, that's a different story.
No, pride anything, man. I played professionally for 11 years. I need to beat somebody. Daddy's retired, and I need to beat up on people.
Let me tell you, you got to get in touch with one of our listeners, Jeff, who actually. Speedy, he used to play professionally.
Yes, he did. He also was that too. It's funny, Cody. You also use opened with his iconic "Living the Dream" as well. Jeff says that all the time too.
Oh, there you go.
So Jeff, I don't know. You might have a new favorite guest.
There you go. Well, Cody, we're glad to have you. I know it's not Arrow, but according to the fans, apparently I'm better. So we got that. So that's a good thing. Let's get right into it. First off, let's get into the baseball season so far. It's, as they call it, the dog days of summer, right? We're getting down to that point where it's getting tough, almost the middle of August. You're kind of starting to see teams basically stamp their name at this point to where they're going to stand in the standings and everything of that sort. The American League seems kind of set, right, between two teams, and that's the Yankees and the Astros. Is there a team you believe in the American League that really stands out above those two teams? I can't see it this year.
Above those two teams? No. But do I think the Yankees are a team that's desperately in trouble right now? Yes. They cannot hold a candle to this Astros team. In fact, seems as though no team in the American League can do it. On top of that, the Yankees went ahead and gave away one of their sure-handed left-handed pitchers in Jordan Montgomery over the St. Louis Cardinals. And they pick up a lefty in Montas, who I do like, but unfortunately, I like a healthy Montas, and he's already been on the IL one time this year with shoulder problems. This is a team that needed more arms and instead got themselves an injured center fielder and giving away one of their arms. It absolutely made no sense. And right now, the Astros are the best team in the American League. And quite frankly, there's another team I'm watching going forward, and that's the Seattle Mariners. I'm looking forward to seeing what this team does going forward now with the addition of Castillo to this team. This team's ready and primed to win, but can they get past Houston? I don't know. They've lost both the last two series against them. Not to mention Houston has swept the Yankees twice this year. I have a feeling the Yankees are going to be knocked out of the first round this year. I don't want to see it happen. I personally would like to see a Dodgers-Yankees World Series, but I don't always get what I want.
So we don't want to see that. If you could tell by our shirt and our hat, we don't want to see that. But that's
I get it. You are, hey man, I'm all for. I played for the Mets. I love the Mets, and I'm a fan of the fact that you're a fan of the second best team in the National League. As much as we want to sit here and pretend the Dodgers aren't ridiculous, the Dodgers are just ridiculous. Doesn't mean the Mets can't beat them in October. Looking at that starting rotation that the Mets have, you got deGrom, you got Scherzer. And for whatever reason, no one wants to talk about how great Taijuan Walker has been for this organization, not just this year, but for 2 straight seasons. This team could beat just about anyone. Can they get past the Dodgers in October? Man, we'll find out. I can't wait.
That definitely segued into Speedy's question.
No, I was going to ask, going back to the Astros, I want to ask, so if it's not the Yankees, who do you think has the best chance of beating them?
At this point, it would be the Seattle Mariners. But listen, at the end of the day, you can throw a rock at the AL East, and you never know. As much as we want to say that Baltimore is a great story, I'm expecting Baltimore to finally come to an end soon. But if it hasn't happened yet, when the hell is this going to happen? The Rays are injured right now, man. They got David Peralta, which was great, but they really could have used Wilson Contreras from the Chicago Cubs to supplement the fact that Mike Zunino's out for the year. They're going to be without Kiermaier. They've been without Wander Franco a lot this year. I still think they're going to be a playoff team, but can they beat the Yankees and the Astros? I don't think so. Not this year. Not the way these two teams can swing it.
Okay, Speedy, strap your seatbelt in, because Cody opened up a great thing with the Mets, and that just segued into my question. Well, first off, before I ask that, how are you and your family doing with the whole COVID situation? Everything.
A few people got hit, but everybody, for the most part, ended up being okay. Unfortunately, one friend of mine we lost, but outside of that, we got away relatively unscathed, all things considered.
My question is, so funny, of course, I went to the one Met game that the Mets lost against the Braves. That was the Friday game. Of course, he had to mention that. Luckily, I did buy my son, who's 9 months, I bought him his first Met shirt. I bought him a Scherzer shirt, which is good because by the time he outgrows it, Scherzer won't be on the team anymore anyway. So it's like perfect for him. You mentioned that, and I know you said the Dodgers right now are a juggernaut. They are. They're winning in every facet of the game. And you look at the players that they have. Joey Gallo is the happiest guy on the planet right now. He said it in his post game yesterday. Hey, I'm paying the same in rent that I did in New York, and I get to look at a beach outside my apartment. It's the greatest thing ever. When I look at the Mets and the Dodgers, the concern I have with the Dodgers, Kershaw with the back again.
Mm-hmm.
Bueller, I haven't heard anything. Have not heard a thing about when he's returning, when he's coming back. He's been out since what, Cody? I think June or May he's been out?
I believe early June.
So my thinking is, because I compare this Met team, take the pitching rotation out of it, which of course is hard to do. I look at this 2022 Met team. I compare it to the 2015 Royals team. They don't have a lot of pop, but what they do is they work the crap out of pitchers, especially in the first inning. I believe the numbers show that they have the highest pitch count rate of any team, I believe, in baseball in regards to pitch count in the first inning. So when you look at that, you want to add the pitching into it. Doesn't that really help the Mets in a sense against the Dodgers when it comes to, because the Mets already played the Dodgers too this year without Scherzer and deGrom, and they split with them in those 4 games in LA, and they got them in the next few weeks at the end of the month to really strut their stuff out there.
It sounds great in theory, but at the end of the day, this Mets offense is far better than the 2015 Royals World Series winning team.
That makes it better.
Yeah, let's be real clear. I played for the 2016 Royals. It was basically the same lineup. Very good ball club, but let's be real clear. They didn't have a star in the bunch. This team's got stars up and down this lineup. They got Marte. They got Lindor. They got Pete Alonso. That Royals team didn't have any of that. In fact, the reason why that Royals team was what it was is because it had the best bullpen of the decade.
That bullpen was incredible.
It
was ridiculous.
Yeah, dude. If they were up by 1 run in the 5th inning, you couldn't beat the Royals, and that was it. Where the Dodgers, as much as I want to sit here and say, yeah, the Dodgers played against injured Mets, it's been an injured Dodgers. This Dodger team has been hurt all season long. They've been doing this without Blake Trinan. They've been doing this without Walker Buehler. They've been doing this without Gratterall. They've been doing this without their core guys out of the bullpen and 2 major starters in Kershaw and Bueller. So I'd watch out for the Dodgers. Oh, and May is also coming back soon. So the Dodgers are going to be going into October at full strength. And what's scary is this team's won 10 in a row, all of which by more than 3 runs. This team is scary.
Dave Roberts versus Buck Showalter, though. I know Buck has never been to a World Series, and let's call it like it is. Dave Roberts has struggled in the playoffs. I know he has a World Series ring to his name, but you got to give the advantage to Buck. Everybody discredits the Met bullpen, and the Met bullpen's been trashy at times this year, right?
It's had some moments where it hasn't been that good, but listen, you got the best closer in baseball.
Yeah, they're 3rd in the National League, though, in ERA. Plus, I want to put this on record here, and I'm tired of Errol arguing this with me, and I'm putting this to bed now. Edwin Diaz is better than Clay Holmes. I'm tired of arguing this. I'm sick of hearing about it from him. I'm done with it. Edwin Diaz is a better closer than Clay Holmes is. And if you want to argue that, Cody, you can. The numbers speak for itself.
I don't really need to. This is kind of your guys' weird New York thing, man. It's like everyone on the Mets side is like, the Yankees are obsessed with us, and everybody on the Yankees side, the Mets fans are obsessed with us. And I'm just sitting back and letting you guys all eat each other, man. Leave me out of it.
Yankees Subway Series again, you're going to be like, hell yeah, let's do it.
Bro, I'm born and raised in L.A. I played for the Padres, a group of Dodger fan. Leave me out of your guys' fights.
Go for it, Speedy.
Yeah. I like them. How about this? I like them both, and I want them both to do really well. Edwin Diaz, by the way, who was, up until this year, probably the biggest trade bust. And keep in mind, he was the biggest part of that trade with Seattle a couple years ago, and he's been terrible up until this year. And this year, coming to his own, he's the best closer in baseball. That trade is now all of a sudden not looking quite as bad as it once did. But
and Jarred Kelenic got sent down again today. He got sent down again, which is crazy. It's when I see Kelenic's numbers, it blows my mind how great this guy looks in the minors, and he comes up to them and he looks just completely overmatched. And it
We'll
makes no
see.
sense. You look at his body type, you look at the strength that he has, the power potential, everything about him. It screams star player, and he looks like a star player, and it just can't put it together right now.
You know, when it comes down to it, if you can succeed in AA or AAA, you could succeed in the big leagues. The talent level is not that much different as much as anyone wants to make you believe it is. It's simply not. It's just the only thing that's different is the lights and the atmosphere. And quite frankly, let's not be like sugarcoated. Jerry Kelenic has probably got more pressure on him on every single at bat at this point because he was a key point in a trade that moved along hundreds of millions of dollars and multiple all-stars. So quite frankly, every single time this guy comes to the plate, he's got the weight of hundreds of $1 million and multiple all-stars, and he just feels like a failure every time he comes to the plate. Trust me, has being a guy that's played this game for 11 years, made it all the way to the big leagues, I cannot stress to you enough, that guy's under some pressure.
So
we are talking right now really quick with host of Odyssey Sports Big Time Baseball Bet MGM MLB podcast and Bet for the Cycle and BetQL, and down the line, that is Mr. Cody Decker. We're talking to him right now. Speedy, go for it, man.
So Jacob deGrom just coming back recently for the Mets, dominating his first 2 starts. Didn't pitch long, but again, they were only easing him back on a pitch count. But short-term and long-term trajectory for deGrom, what do you see for it going forward?
I think that everyone that has access to certain gambling apps should go ahead and take a flyer out on Jacob deGrom winning the Cy Young Award this year because you probably get him at about 60-1. The odds are not amazing for it to happen, but I want you to understand if this guy keeps going out and has another 8-10 performances exactly like this, I wouldn't put it by anybody, any writer's ideas to put a vote on Jacob deGrom. This guy, when he's healthy, is the greatest pitcher living. And maybe, and again, this is a big caveat, when healthy, it's the best pitcher we've ever seen on a mound ever. I have faced this guy, but keep in mind, I faced this guy back in 2013 to 15 when he was only throwing a pathetic 96 to 98. Now the guy sits at 103. He's unhittable. And if he stays healthy, he will be the greatest pitcher we have ever seen.
It's so crazy because you look at the series coming up this weekend against Philadelphia. The Phillies get Max Scherzer Friday.
That sucks.
Jacob deGrom Saturday.
That sucks.
Chris Bassett on Sunday.
That's better, but it's still not great.
It's still not great. It's still not great.
I mean, the guy's got a 3.6 ERA. He's having a good year. He's been pitching really good for his last about 8 appearances. Yeah, it's not great. And then after that, you never know who they can throw at you because they got some depth. They got Taijuan Walker.
13 wins this year. Cody
Cookie Carrasco's killing it. I mean, listen, Tyler McGill, when he comes back, he was killing it before he got hurt. They figure out a way to really maximize the use of Seth Lugo over these last couple of years.
Yeah.
This year, he's been fantastic. I mean, this is a very good ball club. Would I have liked them to got a little more help? Yeah, I was on WFAN last week, and
I heard
Evan Roberts was losing his mind over Iglesias.
I think he blocked me. I think he might have blocked me.
And I'm just like, Evan, at the end of the day, did your team get better? And the answer is a resounding yes. The Mets got better, and they got back the players they already have. I am not worried about the Mets. Listen, the fact of the matter is this team just needs to win the NL East. It's not a foregone conclusion that they win it, and if they don't win it, don't think of it as a failure on the Mets' part. This is honestly a year where the Mets could lose first place, and it's not the Mets doing the Mets thing every August. This is a different ball club, and it's only because the Braves are really good. But this last week, the Mets showed us something. They showed us that the Braves got some cracks in the armor. They showed us that they are actually better than the Braves. Dude, this is going to be a nice little run going over here. I'm looking forward to October because right now there's 4 teams in the National League, man, where it's anybody's ball game.